I've been struggling with a bad case of procrastination, inconsistency, perfectionism, and honestly, that has led me to have a massive sense of distrust in myself. And I know that I'm not the only one. Hello everyone, my name is Pamela, and if you're new to my channel, please like and subscribe if you're interested in learning about me and all the different things I like to talk about. So let's jump in. What I've come to realize is that people have a knowing. People have an understanding of the deep desires that they have in their heart. Desires of things they want to accomplish, where they want to go in life, just overall who they want to become and who they want to embody. But the difficult part about that is that some people might not know where to start, and because of that, they may never actually make it there. Let me explain. If you don't know where to start, and it looks like that mountain that you have to climb is about 500 feet tall, you might become a victim of procrastination, inconsistency, fear, and perfectionism, such like myself. And that's why I feel like I'm very equipped to talk about the downsides of living in this reality for too long. Section 1, the brutal honesty. This is my personal struggle with procrastination. And right now it looks like excuses, excuses, excuses. Let me explain. Procrastination has always been my biggest enemy. I tell myself I'm not ready, or that I need to complete something completely irrelevant first. It's like I need everything to be perfect first before I even think about starting. If you're like that, follow me. In the planning phase, it's almost like I don't even allow myself to be me. And what I mean by that is that I don't even allow myself to go through a natural phase of planning. I'm like, what needs to be, this needs to be perfect, this needs to be perfect, this needs to be perfect. And then I psych myself out and then it never ends up happening. But if I allow myself to be me and jot down things like, oh, I like how this sounds, I like the idea of that, then it might flow a little bit better. But I feel like I'm so rigid in that first planning phase that I don't let myself be me, and that could be a huge indicator of what the outcome is going to be. But what I've come to realize is that things are just going to be what they are. I get wrapped up in the idea of what I want it to be, and I think that fear is too intense sometimes. And instead of me actualizing what I want to bring to fruition, I end up being stuck in how it needs to look like before it happens. And I'm tired of that. I don't know about you, but I don't want to live in that before phase anymore. I'm tired of that burning pit at the bottom of my stomach every single time I think about the dreams and the aspirations and the goals that I've let fall by the way because of my own issue with procrastination. If anything in this video can help you, I hope it's the sheer fact that you're worth more than letting your dreams fall by the wayside. Because the truth of the matter is, God gave us the desires of our heart for a reason, and He knows that we're more than capable of doing exactly what it is we need to do. And if you don't, that little voice in the back of your mind is just going to get quieter and quieter every time you decide, oh, I'll just do this tomorrow. Oh, I'll just try next week. Oh, well, I said I was going to do the laundry. Oh, well, my hair is not looking like this today, because it's never going to be a perfect day. You're just going to have to sit down and do it. And you won't be happy with yourself until you do. And I learned that the hard way. Section numero dos. The truth about my inconsistency does not come from a blatant refusal to do the work. No, it's much more sinister than that. Just kidding. It's actually a combination of getting stuck in my comfort zone, bad habits, a warped sense of my own reality, and zero planning. Let me explain. At a point, I had convinced myself that if I have an idea and I'm really, really passionate about this idea, that the results are just gonna fall in my lap. Everything is just gonna be so easy. If I want it bad enough, it's just gonna happen. No. At the point of having this idea, I hadn't set up anything in my life to work towards this goal. I haven't done the research. I don't know how long it's gonna take. And because I've unfortunately skipped all of that planning, I fall back into my old patterns of inconsistency and procrastination. And so that's pretty much what I'm trying to say here is if you actually want it, and if you actually really are passionate about this goal, it's not going to fall on your lap. Because nothing in this life that's worth having actually falls on your lap. If you want it, you have to plan, you have to make time, you have to break old habits, you have to get out of your comfort zone. You have to create some sort of space for yourself that's going to facilitate that goal taking place. So yes, my ideals, my reality that I was living in when it comes to consistency were definitely messed up. And I'm not afraid to admit it. But that's why I'm here right now, because I don't want to be stuck in that place anymore. And if I can reach anyone and help them get out of that place with what I've come to realize, then there's nothing more important to me than that. So when it comes to consistency, my main point that I really want to drive home is do not forget the foundation. Because without having a solid foundation, as my good Lord says, everything you build on top of it will crack. And that brings me to section 3, being driven by the outcome and not the journey. Come sit, let's have a chat. No, let's have a chat. Without even thinking about it, I know this to be true of myself, or at least it used to be. I would think of an idea or I would have a goal that I really want to achieve and immediately start imagining myself living in the fruit of something that hasn't even come to pass. Then I would get validation from the idea of, oh, this is what my life is going to be like. I'm going to love it so much. I'm going to have such a great time. I'm going to have all these things. I'm going to have these great people around me. But what about the process? What is it going to take to get there? What does that look like? So I'm looking at the end results, the finished product, the version of myself that's already made it. And see, don't get me wrong, that's not a bad thing. Honestly, that fuels a lot of people. But if you're anything like me, it's almost like that sense of congratulations, that sense of accomplishment before anything has even gotten done. And then that hinders me from taking time to look at that process that might be a bit ugly, that might not be as fun and glorious and beautiful as the outcome. And then I slip back into my old ways because I'm like, that process doesn't look much like that really cool version of me that I feel like I'm gonna snap my fingers and be. So what I've started doing before committing to any idea, any goal, to stop myself from that idealization is thinking first and asking myself one simple question. Am I more in love with the outcome or the process? If my answer is the outcome, which honestly, for most of us, it might always be, then I just break it down into realistic steps to see if the process is something that still excites me. And if it doesn't, then I redefine the goal. And if I redefine the goal again and it still doesn't, maybe it's time to move on to another goal that makes sense to you. So the objective with this mindset is to never take no for an answer. And always think, if this goal is difficult, how can I manipulate it to make it something that I can achieve? And that doesn't mean making it easier. It just means, how can I rearrange this to something that I can digest, that I can take one step at a time, so that I can actually achieve this goal and feel proud of myself? Because who doesn't want to feel proud of themselves? I know I certainly do. This has worked for me in terms of committing to go to the gym, eating healthy home-cooked meals, and honestly just structuring my week in a way that makes sense to me. If my goal before was, oh, I have to go to the gym 5 times a week, and I wasn't comfortable with that, then I would say, okay, I'll go 4 times a week, and maybe my 5th day will be an active rest. So maybe I'll go for a walk, maybe I'll just do stretching. And remember that your structure at first might not be anything near perfect, but it does not have to be, because how many of us have started a task and had it be perfect from day one? I would like to meet you and shake your hand, because I feel like we get so wrapped up in this idea of perfection that is not obtainable. There is no such thing as perfection on day 1, maybe not even day 100, maybe not ever. So what that actually shows is that if you want something, go get it right now. Don't wait. Don't wait for the perfect day. Don't wait for the perfect plan. Go get it. At this point in the video, you're probably thinking, when are we going to talk about self-trust? Girl, right now. Last but not least, welcome to section 4, losing trust in yourself. Have you lost trust in yourself and you're trying to figure out, how do I win that self-trust back? Well, look no further. Let's get into the tea. So I like to think about the trust you have in yourself as a bank, and each time you withdraw that trust, it's not like you can just pay it back the next day or pay your minimum credit card balance. As time goes on, the damage or the withdrawals only become worse and worse and worse. Just imagine that each minimum withdrawal is $10,000, but you work at Wendy's 2 days a week at minimum wage, and you have about 2 years of student loans. Yeah, let that sink in. But in all seriousness, what I'm trying to convey here is the price of letting yourself down over and over again is too dangerous. I know we have all felt that deep sense of disappointment when someone you trust really lets you down, and you're like, how could you have done that to me? Like, I was really expecting you to carry out this promise that you made to me. You really made me believe you were gonna do it, and they don't. And that same person that broke that promise to you, I don't think you're really gonna wanna confide in them, rely on them, or even really trust them again. So how much worse is it that you might end up feeling that exact same way about yourself? That's what I'm saying, it's way too dangerous. When you carry that kind of distrust in yourself, even unconsciously, it chips away at you every single day. You hesitate before taking risks, you second guess your instincts, and you talk yourself out of trying. But pulling yourself out of there takes effort, but it is not impossible. And that's the good part. They say confidence is built by keeping commitments to yourself. Every time you follow through with something you say you're gonna do, no matter how small, you're making deposits back into your trust bank from earlier that was so depleted. If you struggle with confidence for any of these reasons, just remind yourself, confidence is not built from the clothes you wear, how you look, how much money you have, or your followers on Instagram. Real confidence is built from your self-concept, who you think you are and what you believe to be true of yourself. Can I trust myself? Can I rely on myself? Because if the answer is no, then what you need to do is make sure that you're putting deposits back into that trust bank. You are way more capable than you think you are. So boys and girls, let's start building that confidence right back up, one promise at a time. If I can do it, I believe you can do it too. Thank you so much for watching my video. Like I said before, please like, please subscribe if you want to learn more about me. Thank you.